Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 71 here on season 1. Wow, what are the coincidence odds of that happening? Today we are talking about how are Acorns and Stash different. So, I'm going to dive into how Acorns is specifically different than Stash and how, what makes them both different and unique, and then what makes them the same, and that kind of thing. So, first of all, on Acorns specifically, they have these things called roundups, which roundups are basically if you spend $1.20, it takes 80 cents and puts that into your Acorns account, making it basically you spent $2. So, that's what a roundup is. Also, on Acorns, you can do like a ×2 multiplier, a ×4 multiplier, or I think a ×10 multiplier on your roundup. So if you're like, oh, it's 80 cents, and you can times it by 2, which would be $1.60, or you can times it by 4, and so on and so forth. And so you can basically invest, I think, $8 off of one roundup. So anyways, that's what roundups are. Also on Acorns, they have this thing called found money, which they have partnered with Walmart. There's 50, 60 businesses that they partner with. Basically, if you purchase something, for instance, I purchased something through Walmart. I think I went to the store, but maybe it was online. And I got a kickback of 17 cents because I used my card that's linked to Acorns. So they have other things. I think Walmart only offers 1% or something like that, but there's other ones that do 5%. There's other ones that do a certain amount of money. If you spend a certain amount of money, all that kind of stuff. So basically, it's a kickback bonus. So you're oh, I usually shop at Walmart. I'll just use this card so that it kicks back 1% back to me. Also on Acorns, you have pre-selected ETFs. So they have their 5 to 6 ETFs that you're already investing in. One is government bonds, corporate bonds, big company stocks, small company stocks, emerging market stocks, international company stocks, and then there's also real estate. So there's 8 of them, and based upon what portfolio you use, they basically based upon what portfolio that they say that you should be in, that's what percentage goes to what percentage of those stocks. And then also even on the super aggressive account, you're not even invested into any bonds at all. Also, on Acorns, they do a thing called rebalancing, and I did talk about that on an earlier episode, but basically what rebalancing is when your account goes up by 5% or below 5% on one specific ETF, they sell some shares of your other ETFs to put money into that account, or vice versa. They sell, if it's up, they sell some of your shares there and distribute it back into your other accounts. So that's a nice way to if a stock goes down, it's a nice way to buy it while it's on sale. So I think it's a really good idea. However, with Stash, the nice thing is that you can buy different ETFs. So you're not just limited to those 8 different ETFs. You can buy 30 to 40 different ETFs. You can also rebalance it yourself. So if you're instead of rebalancing at 5%, I want to do it at 3%. You can do it at 3%, or you can do it at 1%, or you can do it whenever you want. It doesn't really matter because Stash, quite frankly, doesn't care, whereas Robinhood, you have no choice in the matter. On Stash, like I said, they have no found money. I think that this is something they might add eventually, but right now they don't have that. You can also buy and sell ETFs or percentage of ETFs whenever you want. So, for instance, if you're oh, I'm going to buy into Delicious Dividends or this high-yield dividend stock, it goes up, 2%. Well, I'm going to sell that, or it goes up 2% in a week, and you're well, the next week I'm going to just sell it because I want to take my money. So you can do that on Stash Invest or Stash Retire, but with Acorns, it's very hard to sell one specific ETF. You're going to be pulling out a lump sum of money, and they're going to sell percentages of your shares on every single one of those ETFs. Also on Stash, you need to have a better knowledge of investing. I would suggest reading a book or 2 about investing. Just having a simple basic knowledge on dollar cost averaging, when to buy and when to sell, all that kind of stuff, or how to rebalance, why percentages are important, and that kind of thing. So that way you can generate your own wealth. Because Acorns is all computer run, and so they're gonna basically be able to beat you unless you're really, really know what you're doing. However, both have auto deposit. So on Stash, it's called Auto Stash. On Acorns, I think it's called just like regular deposit or something like that. But both of them, you can deposit a certain amount of money weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So they both have that feature, which is really nice. And then they also are both really easy to use. I haven't had like any issue. Both of them are pretty simple and easy to understand. Stash is going to be a little bit more advanced because you are buying and selling ETFs, where on Acorns you're not like personally buying and selling ETFs. You are because your money is buying and selling them, but it's all computer run, where Stash is you actually buying and selling those ETFs. They also both charge the same fees. It's $1 a month, which is pretty simple, and then once you get above $5,000, I think it drops down to 0.25%, which is, I think, a little bit more than $1 a month or something like that. But yeah, both of them charge $1 per month. However, on Acorns, they do, if you have a student email account, so .edu, they will waive that dollar fee for the next 4 years. So it's like for starting out, it might be better for you to do an Acorns until you like read books and kind of figure out investing. And then you can kind of chance a little bit more. Honestly, they're both going to be the same volatile, so you're not going to like win more over here and lose more over there. It's just kind of like your personal preference. Do you want to have more control, or do you want someone else to have more control? It's kind of up to you. So pretty much that sums it up. So there are some differences between Acorns and Stash, but for the majority of for the majority of both apps, they're pretty much the same thing. One's going to give you more freedom to do what you want. The other one's going to restrict freedom, but handle it in a way that it's kind of, Acorns is like a set it and forget it, and Stash is more like a moderated, like not like a Robinhood where you got to monitor it all the time, but Stash is like one where you got to spend a little bit of time, buying and selling and that kind of stuff, and you got to know what you're doing a little bit. Acorns you could just put money in there and it will continue to grow. So anyways, I hope that it helps you out. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and dive into the question of the day. The question of the day is, why is applying for a job easier than online dating? I don't know. I feel like applying for a job is extremely hard, but like online, I think it's very hard for people to talk about themselves, talk about what they like, all that kind of stuff, like what they're looking for in a mate. That's stuff that we don't ever think about, where a job is something that we're always thinking about, like, what am I good at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Like, what's my job experience? What did I do in my past job? All that kind of stuff, where online dating is like, give an experience where you were romantic and you're like, oh, was I ever romantic? Like, maybe this is not a romantic story. So I feel like a lot of people that do online dating don't have the courage, first of all, to post stuff like that, and then they second guess themselves, like, was that story really romantic? And should I mention my ex? And should I mention that? Should I mention that I like had a crazy ex? All that kind of stuff. So honestly, that's why I feel like it's easier to apply for a job, because it's more comfortable than personally putting your own information out there on a dating website. Anyways, like I always say, if you have any questions about Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, or just general investing advice, go ahead and post it down below, and I will tackle that on the next episode. I do also talk about business, Etsy, and coaching, but those are few and far between. Most of what I talk about is investing. So anyways, until next time, don't forget to subscribe up here and check out the top 3 ETFs on Stash, and then check out this other video right about here. And until next time, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.